Grafana. So guys, in the first installment of this tutorial, we installed our node exporter, which is what we use to gather metrics from our server. We installed Prometheus, which is what gathers these metrics from node exporter and display them on the interface. In the second installment, we tested the installation that we did. We used the query languages of Prometheus to display all these metrics on the Prometheus interface. But what we are going to do in this third installment is to install Grafana. Grafana is the tool that we can use to create very amazing graphs. Note that this tutorial is meant for beginners who are trying to understand what node exporter is, what Prometheus is, and what Grafana is. So we are not going to go deep into the tools, but we are going to do this in such a way that is very, very clear to a beginner. So let's get started. But before then, may I ask you to please subscribe to my channel, to like, and to share. Thank you. Now, when I check this very folder that I have here, this directory, we are going to find the installations that we already have here. So the first one, we already have our node exporter, which I told you about already. We also have our Prometheus. Now, because this very section is related to Grafana, so we are going to go on and install Grafana here. The first thing that we need is to install the Grafana repository. Here is asking me for my credentials. So we are going to install this. Some of the links I'm going to use here or the commands, I'm going to leave them in the comment section of this very tutorial. Now that we have added the Grafana repository, the next thing that we need to do is to download the Grafana GPG key. This key is a cryptographic key used to verify the authenticity and integrity of Grafana. To do that, the first thing that we need to do is to create a directory where we could have this downloaded. We can download it. We can go into etc apt. Then we can say something like a key rings. Let's get into that. etc key rings. Now let us download the GPG key. And now we can add add some repository. And finally, we can update this. Before that, let me clear the screen. Then sudo apt update. After the update, let us go on and install Grafana with the command sudo apt install Grafana. Now our installation has completed. We have some instructions here as to what we need to do. Let me clear the screen, and what we can do is to start the server. or the service. To do that, we use sudo systemctl start Grafana server. We can also enable it on boot. To do that, we can only change something like enable here. So whenever the server boots, it's going to enable the Grafana. Finally, let us check the status. The status is active, it is running. So we are done with this part. Now let us open our Grafana web interface by going to http://localhost 3000. Here, this is the Grafana web interface. After installing Grafana, there is a default login that you could use, which is admin, and the password is also admin. It's going to prompt you to change your password. There you go. Now we have logged into our Grafana. How easy was that? Before we proceed, let me show you something. I'm going to open an additional terminal here. Let me get back into the folder where we did our configurations. Here we can, let me see what we've got here. So basically what we can do here now is, let's get into Node Exporter, and I'm going to start it. Now our Node Exporter is working. If you don't know much about this, you can watch the first and second installments of this very tutorial. You are going to know more about it. So now we have our Node Exporter running. Let me do the same thing with our Prometheus. Get into monitoring, and here Prometheus, and I'm going to have it running as well. Prometheus. Now this is also running. So we have our Prometheus running, we have our Node Exporter running. So let's get back to our web interface and start our configuration.